Elon Musk's latest accusation, talking about Twitter, may be proving too much for the founder of SpaceX. It seems Musk would be too busy defending free speech on social media that his space exploration programs may have to be handled by someone else. Musk, who is well known for being the man with the plan, and with the takeover of Twitter being a media magnet because of its many controversies, the world wonders how this significant shift will affect the Starship program. Elon Musk, who has very lofty plans for Twitter, has his work cut out for him, and managing the project will take time away from Musk's regular duties. Even as Tesla's CEO, his time is already divided. Musk would have less time to review SpaceX's Starship or Starlink projects as they develop into significant revenue generators for the Space Corporation. Major overhauls and innovations that have been in the pipeline may soon redefine SpaceX operations. This is why the SpaceX launch site in Texas is going through a substantial overhaul as the race to reach the company's next goals gets heated. Currently, two of Musk's most important executives oversee SpaceX's Starbase headquarters and operations: President and COO Gwynne Shotwell and Vice President Mark Juncosa. The appointments reveal the company's sense of urgency to launch Starship. Shotwell and Juncosa have both worked for SpaceX since Elon Musk founded the company. Meanwhile, due to his recent, highly publicized Twitter overhaul, it makes sense that Musk has been spending most of his time on Twitter. He has, regardless, been making frequent stops in Austin, while traveling to and from various Twitter offices in California and New York. How will this significant shift affect the Starship program then? Many have asked this question, wondering whether Starship will keep getting delayed as a result of Elon's absence at SpaceX. President and Chief Operations Officer Gwynne Shotwell and Vice President Mark Juncosa have worked with SpaceX since Musk's early days with the company, so their capacity to manage it in his absence is not in question. However, Musk is keeping a close eye on developments at the facility. He had recently made a stop by which coincided with Starship's full stack testing. Officially, Gwynne Shotwell will now be in charge of the organization's Starship program and Starbase facilities. Gwynne Shotwell has been filling in the gaps left by the CEO's new preoccupation with Twitter. She is a seasoned executive, regarded by many of her associates as the adult in the room, which is not surprising, seeing how Elon can be unpredictable. Shotwell is the second longest serving executive behind Musk. Her sales prowess may have prevented NASA from placing a billion-dollar wager on SpaceX in 2008, even though she was hired in 2002. However, NASA finally decided to place that wager just when SpaceX most needed it, and Shotwell went on to assist in securing additional several billion-dollar launch contracts from all relevant industries. After overseeing NASA's first significant SpaceX contract in 2008, she was appointed President and COO, role she has held for 14 years. Shotwell was already somewhat in charge of the Starship program and Starbase operations by virtue of her position as Chief Operating Officer. It's possible that she spent most of her time working on SpaceX's Dragon, Falcon, and Starlink programs, but it would be nearly hard for a COO with a stellar reputation to ignore a project that probably accounts for half or more of the company's R&D budget. Additionally, in the summer of 2022, SpaceX executive Mark Juncosa took over the technical command of the Starship development. He's been touted to be a brazen, unconventional engineer, and has effectively directed the Starlink program since Musk sacked several too conservative executives back in 2018. According to an organizational chart distributed to staff members, Joe Peterzelka and Bill Riley, who were in charge of that project, now answer to Juncosa. The Starbase complex south of Brownsville, Texas, which acts as the main hub for development, testing, and launching of the Starship rocket, has been slowly built up by SpaceX. The rocket, for which SpaceX was awarded a nearly $3 billion contract by NASA in 2021, is intended to transport both freight and people beyond Earth and is essential to the agency's goal to send astronauts back to the moon. After spending more than 2 years working on the next-generation rocket in Texas, Senior Director of Starship Operations Shyamol Patel is leaving the location to relocate to the company's Cape Canaveral facilities. Prior to his promotion and transfer to Starbase, Patel was stationed at the Cape. Therefore, it comes as no surprise that Musk would specifically request Shotwell, SpaceX's top executive, to manage the project during his unavoidable absence. It's unclear if she will delegate direct reporting to run other significant SpaceX programs on a daily basis, or if the new role entails expanding her existing Starbase and Starship control. However, it is safe to presume that Shotwell's increased involvement won't have a negative impact on the initiatives. Last month, NASA reported that SpaceX had most recently informed the organization that the first orbital launch for Starship might happen as early as December. To provide a fresh viewpoint and give Musk and Shotwell an update on the status of the site's development, Juncosa paid a 2-week visit to Starbase over the summer. The results of Juncosa have been described as worrying, and a launch attempt into orbit is expected to take longer than business leadership anticipated. SpaceX had wanted to launch the first orbital Starship as early as the summer of 2021, but delays in the development process and the need for regulatory certification have delayed that goal. In order for the business to be granted a license from the federal regulator for Starship launches, the Federal Aviation Administration's long-awaited environmental study of the Starbase facility was crucially completed this year in June. However, as a result of that FAA ruling, SpaceX was compelled to perform more than 75 environmental mitigation measures, the status of which is still unknown. The manufacture of Raptor engines was in crisis a year earlier, according to Musk, which led to the dismissal of a vice president from the program and his subsequent departure from the firm. Since then, SpaceX has increased Raptor production to a rate of 7 engines per week, which is essential because each Starship rocket has 6 engines and each Super Heavy booster needs 33. Also, SpaceX's Raptor series of engines will power the Starship rocket and its Super Heavy booster, as the entire system is intended to be reusable, as opposed to the partially reusable components of the company's Falcon series of rockets. This year, Musk's company is flying frequent cargo and crew missions for NASA and other clients, while also launching Falcon rockets into space at a breakneck pace. Private astronaut missions are being added to the rocket's backlog by SpaceX. The last Starship flight test the corporation conducted was the SN-15 prototype in May 2021, but that test only went up to a height of around 30,000 feet, which is significantly less demanding than an orbital launch. Through increasingly powerful static fire engine tests of its Starship prototype SN-24 and Super Heavy rocket prototype number 7, SpaceX has gained momentum in recent months. The combination of affordable launches and dependable refueling may eventually enable SpaceX to realize its ultimate goal, establishing a self-sustaining human presence on Mars. Musk once warned that SpaceX might go bankrupt if Starship wasn't prepared to start launching the newest Starlink broadband satellites as soon as possible. Otherwise, the constellation would ostensibly become a financial liability. But Starship is crucial to the $127 billion company's future expansion because SpaceX requires the rocket to successfully launch the second generation of its Starlink satellites, which are needed to advance past the financially weak first generation, according to Musk. He even requested that SpaceX personnel transfer to the Texas site in June of last year to speed up the process. And last week, SpaceX announced that salaried workers would receive pay raises of 10% to 25% if they relocated to South Texas. More notably, CEO Elon Musk believes that Starship represents the direction of all SpaceX initiatives. If it is successful, the fully reusable rocket would be able to launch at least 5 times as much payload as SpaceX's main Falcon 9 rocket for even less than the smaller rocket's already remarkable marginal cost of about $15 million. While Elon Musk continues making daily news for his improvements at Twitter, the world waits to see how the Texas launch facility takes on these significant overhauls. If you would like to follow developments at SpaceX, then subscribe to the channel and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up.